Hello folks, this is Aditya Naja from InspiredRise.com and today we are going to talk about the Google Pixel 4a. So guys, we'll start off with the unboxing for the Google Pixel 4a. This is the official box for the Google Pixel 4a which you get. Inside, the first thing you will notice is the Pixel 4a smartphone. It's a very petite and handy smartphone, and you realize at a first glance that how easy it is to hold the smartphone with just one hand. Inside, there's also the SIM tray ejector tool, the charging module with the cable and the USB OTG connector, along with warranty card and the user manual. If we talk about the build and design, it's incredibly handy at 8.2mm thickness and just 143 grams of weight. It has a polycarbonate plastic back and a plastic frame, yet this phone feels quite premium. It's available in only one color variant, which is the just black color variant, and the front has a Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The power button has an accent which is light green and it's on the right hand side. The volume rocker is just below it, and honestly the placement seems a little weird to me. There's the 3.5mm jack at the top and I'm glad that it's still there. The camera bump does not protrude out that much, and there's also a noise cancellation microphone on the top. At the back there's the fingerprint sensor which does work good, though it's recessed quite a bit inside. And apart from that, on the left there's a single slot for a physical nano SIM, but you can also use one additional SIM with the eSIM feature. At the bottom there's the USB-C port with speaker grill, and at the back the single camera setup is present, which is made in such a way that it looks like you get more than one camera, and there's also an LED flash at the back along with the Google branding. The smooth matte overall finish adds to the charm for this device. The display on this one is a 5.81-inch display, and it's an OLED display with HDR support and full HD plus resolution, but I felt that the maximum brightness was slightly low for really harsh sunlight conditions. Single-handed reachability is great, and that makes me feel that the display size is absolutely perfect for day-to-day usage. Now if we talk about connectivity, it's a dual SIM smartphone with dual band Wi-Fi support, Bluetooth 5.0, and on the inside it comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G chipset. You get 6GB of RAM, 128GB of storage. There's only one particular option in the smartphone. You get around 110GB free out of the 128GB, and it has a 12.2MP primary sensor. The battery capacity is slightly low, and if we talk about the internal read-write speed, that's respectable at around 500MB per second. If you take a closer look at all of the other things, then multitasking was okay. It comes with the latest version of Android, and being a Pixel smartphone, it will get a lot of updates over a long period of time, so that also makes it really promising. There were no hiccups in the UI whatsoever. You can use the smartphone easily for a long duration of time. 6GB of RAM is enough for most of your multitasking needs, etc. Talking further about the connectivity, I felt that the support for aptX HD audio, Bluetooth 5.0 and all of that stuff makes it a pretty good smartphone. It does support carrier aggregation and you get better 4G plus speeds, but there's no FM radio. The main camera is still the age-old 12.2MP f1.7 aperture, 1.4 micrometer dual pixel sensor. It has started to show its age in some extremely low lighting situations, and the lack of an ultra-wide and telephoto sensor is definitely felt. But still, I have to say that the real truth is that the Pixel 4a still offers a definitive camera experience in the sub 50k price segment, and when it comes to still images, no phone in this price segment even comes close to it. There's also support for astrophotography. There are things like Top Shot, Night Sight, etc. which make it really good. When it comes to the front camera, the 8MP f2.0 unit has started showing its age in a world where 44MP selfie cameras are also available. The front camera has a fixed focus sensor, so it is really not even comparable to the back camera. And the 8MP sensor on the front does take okay images, but sometimes the images are really bad, and the focus situation is really bad when you take into consideration the fact that the fixed focus sensor is focused up to infinity. The back camera does take really stellar images, and along with Night Sight and all of the other software enhancements that Google has in their arsenal, the final picture output does come out really good. But if you're somebody who's looking for a huge megapixel count, you will be in for a disappointment. The back camera shoots up to 4K videos at 30 frames per second. It has gyro EIS support, which does work good, but the front camera video is quite cropped in and it's only Full HD resolution. The lack of a neural ISP means that image processing on this smartphone does take a little bit more time. Let's do a sound check. It has stereo speakers which are great for the price, but the top module has lower max volume, but still stereo speakers are any day better than single firing speakers. It also has a 3.5mm jack, and that's really important for anybody who loves really nice wired earphones, and sound through the earpiece is above average, but overall sound output is pretty good. It does have wideband L1 support, and the pricing for the Google Pixel 4a starts at $349 outside India, and in India it ranges from around 29 to 32,000 rupees depending upon what sort of cashback etc. you are getting. It's always almost out of stock on Flipkart.com, and that's a serious issue for anybody who's a serious buyer. They do have some stock issues here. It has a 3140 mAh battery with support for 18-watt fast charging. The standby time is really great, but as soon as you start using the smartphone in full throttle, the battery drain is significant. Though the truth is that if you are a casual user like me who uses their smartphone just for WhatsApp, messaging, calls and occasional multimedia, then it will easily last you a full day. But here's a small caveat as well. This phone heats up and battery drains quickly during gaming. Even during normal usage, I found that the back of the phone was slightly warmer compared to a lot of other phones out there, but the heating on this one is not a deal breaker for me. And the GPU on this one is Adreno 618, so the gaming performance is above average but nothing spectacular. Most games would run on HD and high settings, but medium settings would give you the best stable gaming performance. The haptic feedback on the smartphone is flagship level. Its compactness and lightweight is its biggest selling point. The processor is great for day-to-day usage but not for heavy gaming or rendering videos fastly on KineMaster or InShot. Official water or dust resistance is not present here. There is no expandable storage at all via microSD card, and the dual option via eSIM is not something that a lot of people might want to opt for. The heating issues were present on my unit as well, and trust me, you can ignore it when you use a case, but it's definitely there. And one of the major problems for this smartphone is the availability of third-party accessories. The magic of pure stock Android with regular updates and pixel specific features make this phone a joy to use, but several users are complaining about glitches while viewing videos in Instagram app, and some apps are crashing as well. Hopefully all of this would be resolved soon via OT updates. The build does feel premium despite a lack of metal and glass. One great thing is that the smartphone uses AI to adjust to your routine, so you might even find that your battery backup keeps on increasing as more and more time passes by since you start using the smartphone. There's no high refresh rate screen here, so that's something that I personally miss a lot. I won't recommend it to really heavy smartphone users who want tremendous quality in almost every aspect of their smartphone. There's no phone case or screen protector inside the box for this smartphone, and that's a bummer. And 5 hours of screen on time is something that you can expect with mixed usage, but over a long period of time you can easily get up to 7 hours of SOT as well. There's always on display here, but it will increase your standby battery consumption, so I would recommend you to disable it. And it takes around 80 to 90 minutes to charge the smartphone fully. Like the previous Pixel 3a series, there's no squeezing here for Google Assistant, and if somehow you overheat the smartphone too much, the battery starts draining really quickly and all apps become sort of glitchy, and even network performance does take a hit, so that's a big bummer. There's a screen color banding issue as well on some units, so I would suggest you to check it in low light in low brightness conditions to see if your smartphone has any issues or not. And you can use the smartphone as a Wi-Fi repeater as well. So guys, all in all, it's a great smartphone for people who want a handy and compact, beautiful smartphone with good camera and experience. But if you're somebody who's going to use the smartphone for really long hours, I would suggest you to look somewhere else. So guys, this was it for this video. In case you like this one, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button and to subscribe to Inspire to Rise for more awesome tech videos like this one. And guys, no matter what you do, stay inspired to rise.